Hello, everyone, and welcome to What is Your Gift? This interview podcast that is here to inspire you for you to step into your gift and your passion. And today, in this new episode, we have Yennis Mak. Yennis is now living in Cromwell, and she is an artist, and she creates real flower jewelry. Actually, I have some here using the vibration. I can say this word, the vibration, basically, of the flower and the plants. And she also studies different healing modalities. She did reiki, singing bowls, Akashic records, mediation, and soul art. She hosted soul art workshops in Queenstown and also some retreats. And the idea behind is to inspire people to reconnect to their own soul and use their own creativity and guidance. And she has also a deep connection to Gaia, Sophia. Maybe she will explain us a little bit what it means, and her soul and the spirit. And she is always learning new modalities to evolve and fully embody her soul. So without any further ado, here we are. We have this beautiful Yennis. Hi, Yennis.
Hello, Lily. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored.
Yeah, well, the pleasure is mine. Well, I actually met, it's so funny because we never met in real, and now you're living in Cromwell, so
We should.
we need to
Yeah.
meet. We met a few times, through internet. She did session with me, and I've done one of her soul art workshop online, and that was amazing. That was very interesting to see what could come out when we let our intuition tackle in. And so maybe if you want to tell us a little bit more about your work and what, like from this introduction, what else would you like to add for people to know you a bit better?
Sure. So, my full-time job is a jewelry artist. So I make real flowers and leaves, and turn them into jewelry, and I call them vibrational flower jewelry. So I started making jewelry from clay, and then I slowly transitioned to making flowers. And then I was a very spiritual person. I study a lot of like different spiritual modality and technology. And then the more I kind of incorporate, spirituality into my jewelry, my flower work, I started to see the connection, that what I'm trying to bring to my people is actually the energy of the flower, which is the beauty. Because beauty means a lot to me, as my personal journey. And also is a very important quality of the soul, beauty. So when I was always very inspired by flower. I think when I look in the plant kingdom, the flower really is the highest manifestation of beauty. When you look at the flower, how they blossom, how they just, show up themselves as who they are, and then they attract bees and people to them. It's a very feminine quality as well. They attracts instead of they chase people to look at them, right? So I just always learn a lot from flowers. And then when I start making jewelry from flowers, I was actually trying to use the energy, the vibrational energy, the soul level of the flower. And then I tried to make my clients, my people feel the beauty in themselves. And then by, wearing the flowers on them, and then they would try to, and then I want to inspire people to see their own beauty and also have that beauty energy around them so that they can awaken the energy of the beauty from their soul. And I also, as I say, I'm a very spiritual person. I learn a lot of different spiritual modalities. So I learned Reiki healing, I learned singing bowl healing, I learned Akashic record reading, I learned esoteric psychology and meditation, and soul art. And I especially really inspired by the soul art because soul art is modality that can make a lot of transformation in life. And if you're anybody that, like me, that is really interested in personal growth and transformation and always trying to review your next highest frequency, so art is a really good modality, for you to explore yourself. So basically, in so art, I guide people to use art and creativities and a process to touch their soul and then receive guidance and wisdom from this soul using art and creativities. And I found that the message that come through during the session is always very powerful, and it's always the exact message that that person need to hear at that moment. So I've been guiding people on one-on-one soul art journey, and in group sessions, and also in retreat as well. And I was trying to do some more in the future, maybe incorporate some other modality that I have learned, from other things to put into, something more, delicate and more personalized to my clients. So, but it's something to come in the future. So, yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Well, it looks like you've been doing a lot of, you've been learning a lot. That's fantastic. I guess we never stop learning, isn't it?
No, yeah, I don't see myself stop learning. Yeah, I think I would just keep learning. Yeah, exploring myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and maybe because just before we started, you were telling me that you've been doing some workshops and you have more things coming up. So maybe would you like to talk about what is happening coming up, or where the workshop you've been doing lately?
So I have organized one workshop coming in Queenstown soon. So I'm going to do a soul art energy mapping workshop. So it's likely will be in Tiadamari, in the remarkable shopping center. So I would like to offer a group of people, men and women, that if they're interested in using soul art, especially the energy mapping method, to explore, themselves, to have a connection to their soul, and then if they want to do some healing. So in the soul art energy mapping workshop, we are using so instead of painting an object, when you're thinking about an art painting an object, we actually painting energy. So this is so that's why it's called energy mapping. So and I will guide people how to tap into the energy of their life. So for example, what is the energy of your body, and what is the energy of your career, and what is the energy of your relationship at the moment. So by tapping into our energy, we're actually looking at the core, of that aspect. Let's say I'm tapping into the energy of my career. So I'm actually looking at the core, of what is actually happening in my career. So I think this energy mapping is a really good way for people to understand more about energy, our feeling, and train the intuition, and also open the third eye. And especially good for people that have never ever, explored this arena. I think it's really good, starting point for them to learn about energy and the unseen realm. And it's also very easy. I think it's nothing complicated. It's very easy, but it's very powerful. And then also in the workshop, I will guide them through a process to understand their soul star and the earth star chakras. So we have 7 chakras in our body, but of course we are much more than that. And then plus we have a soul star chakras up above our head. It's about a connection to our soul. So when we are connected to a soul star chakras, we feel inspired. We can feel that we have a connection to something bigger than ourselves. And when we're making choices in our life, we feel like we have a very solid, foundation that we can get the guidance from. So this is how we know that we are connected to our soul star. And in the energy mapping workshop, I'm also got people to connect to the earth star chakras, which is underneath our feet, is our connection to the earth, to Gaia. So we are Gaia, basically, right? We're not just living on her. We are her. So we actually have a chakras that connected to our mother, to our Gaia. And then so that connection to Gaia has really helped me to, or help the people understand that, we are part of her, and then how can we live, as a human beings on earth. And then if we have a deep connection with earth star chakras, we will feel grounded, we'll feel that we are part of Gaia. And then every time we make a decision, we can get guidance from her. And then we also have a core star chakras, which is the blend between the soul star and the earth star. And then, so this is what I call the divine relationship between our human self and our divine self. So it's like me, I am a soul, but I'm also a human being. So, and then in this personality, in this life, I call Yennis Mak, right? So who am I as a core star, is the Yennis Mak. So how can I fully understand myself as a soul, but also a human, is that defined relationship that are trying to guide people to understand. So it sounds like a lot, but is a step-by-step process, and I think it's really will help people to understand a lot of aspects of themselves. And it's going to be transformational, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be very creative. So I will post more, once all the date and information is set, so just maybe look out on my social media. I will definitely post it on my Facebook page, if it's ready.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And yeah, that is very fascinating, because energy mapping, I guess, it can be on any subject, basically. So do you have example of how to phrase that? Like someone can come with a blockage or something they want to work on, maybe a relationship or something, and then it just with your guidance, just goes through. How does that work? Without giving too much details, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So let's say you want to energy map your relationship, for example. So how we tap into the energy of things is that how will that thing make you feel, tap into your feelings. So let's say when you met a person, how did that person make you feel, is the energy of that person. When you step into a room, how is that room make you feel, and this is the energy of the room. So for example, if you want to tap into the energy of your relationship with your partner, let's say this is what you're trying to tap into. So you would tap into how is the connection between you and your partner make you feel. So maybe on the surface, you guys are a perfect couple, and he is, provide all the material needs that you need. He's come home every night, have dinner with you. He look after your kids, everything seems like perfect, on the surface level. But when you tap into your feeling, let's say you feel, like it's something missing. You feel like you're isolated sometime. You feel like something not click. And then when you tap in all into all those feelings, and then you start scratching those feelings on the canvas. So how you stretch feelings on a canvas is that just let your pen and pencil, with a color pencil, intuitively guide you to paint. Let's say, oh, I feel isolated actually. So I paint 2 islands, on the canvas, and I feel cold sometimes. He's actually cold to me sometimes, even though he's a perfect partner. So I feel like a lot of blue on the bottom because it make me feel cold, it's blue. And then I also feel like even though he's there, he's not there, it's like he's physically there, but he's mentally not there. So I feel like, a lot of black, a lot of little dot, because, it's just isolated. It's just feel like maybe it's a rainstorm sometime, and the rain is not like black color to me. So by all these feelings stretching on the canvas, you are tapping into the core energy, of the relationship with that partner. So this is how we energy sketch things. And what I found for energy mapping is that, you actually seeing the true picture of things instead of the surface level. So I energy scratch everything, I energy scratch my hair, my body, and then my my career, my some memories that I have, because I want to understand myself better, especially I feel like sometimes when I'm very confused about a certain situation that, I feel, it's show up one thing, but I feel totally different, so I want to know the truth of the thing. So, and then I would do energy sketch so that I can actually tune into what is actually happening in that situation. And it's always helped me to see a clear pictures of things.
Wow. Yeah, it's like a aha moment, like to see it from outside is actually, yeah, therapeutic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. That's, ooh, I can't wait to see it posted.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when did you start tapping into your gift? When all that started?
I think I started when I was a kid, so I think I would say one of my gifts and passion is art and creativity. So when I was a kid, I was always very arty. I was always very creative. I always do really good in art classes, and I will have a lot of the teachers always comment that, oh, your artists look very pretty, very creative. And it's always, I would, so, some, we would do some exercise that you're painting. So they have a picture and then you're coloring it. And some other people, they would just color it, but I will always add stuff on it, so it's always, I will be very creative. I will create something that is just, I feel how a thing is beautiful, how a thing is creative. And I've been always doing it, since I was a kid. And then when I was now, and 7 years ago, when I start to want to create my own business, and I want to do something that is totally myself. I want to create something that define me. I want to do something that I am passionate about, I am interested in, and I is my gift to the world. So I start making jewelry, and because I love art, I love creativities, I love handmade stuff, I love beauty. I love to dress up, to do makeup and jewelry. This is everything that I love. So I come up with, start making jewelry from clay, and then I slowly transition into making flowers, which I have shared before why I choose flowers. And then I do all my graphic design on my business, because I was a graphic designer, before I came to New Zealand. So that all my marketing and all the visual is my vision as well. So I have a very particular vision how I would like my business, the palette of my brochure or my website or my online shop want to be look like. And I design, how my store going to look like in a market. And I design, all my jewelry, how it's going to look like. I pick the flowers that I think, is matched with the energy I want to deliver. So, and also when I was holding workshop, when I was doing soul art workshop to people, and the workshop need to be beautiful as well. So I always make a dry flower ornament to put, in the middle of the table, so that I wanted people to feel the energy of the flower and the beauty of the area. And I like to create a sacred space so that the people can receive the energy that I want to deliver, which is the beauty, which is safe, and also healing and transformational. And I also noticed that the way that I carry myself, the way that I talk, the way that I dress, the energy that I emitted is also part of the workshop as well. I feel like as a facilitator, how I carry myself and how I stand up, in front of my people is a very important aspect, that what kind of energy I try to deliver to people. And I feel, and I've been observing a lot of like really brilliant facilitators and leaders in the world that they're doing the same. I guess this is why they're so charming. It's because they've done so much healing work on themselves, and they know exactly who they are. They are delivering the essence, so that's why they're so charming. They're radiating, is because they embodying the quality and the energy they're trying to emit to the world. And I feel like I've been on a journey that I've been knowing myself and what sort of quality is my soul trying to give to the world. So I've been working a lot on those aspects. And that's why, when I was hosting workshop, or even just on a normal day-to-day situation, when I go out to have a cup of coffee with friends, I was always show up in the way that I want to show up in front of people, which is, I think, is the beauty, is the empowerment, is good energy, positive energy. And yeah, so I feel like I think it's my whole life, everything needs to be aligned so that I can deliver the full of myself. I don't see myself as, when I was working in my jewelry, that I'm a completely different person than I'm at home, right? It's like all of my aspect of my life, I am me. When I'm home, I am that Yennis Mak that is also emitting the beauty and the joy and the love. When I was working, I'm the same. So this is, I think, is one of the goals that I try to achieve in life, is to be the full embodiment of my soul. Mm.
Wow, fantastic. And is it something that you felt, this beauty, to the idea to show who you truly are? Is it something that you had since young, or that really increased or really happened later in your life?
Mm. I felt there was innate in me since I was a kid as well. So I remember when I was a kid, I was always trying to put makeup on. Let's say I was only like 5 years old, and I would go to my mom's room and I put her makeup on and put her on her jewelry. And I know exactly what I want to wear. When I go out, I will tell my mom, this is what I want to wear. And then, so I always have a sense of beauty, that how I want to look and how my surrounding need to look like, so it's like I can't live in an area, my room, that is not beautiful. It's like an energy that I try to surround myself with. That's why I love flowers so much, because they are beautiful. But I went through uh, quite a journey to regain my beauty, because I lost it, when I was growing up. Because when I'm born in Hong Kong, so Hong Kong is a city that is very judgmental, and they have a very narrow beauty standard. So how you will look beautiful in Hong Kong is you need to look like that skinny model in this magazine. So it's only like one type of beauty standard in Hong Kong, is you need to be skinny. You need to look 22 years old, and then you need to, like white, very white, pale, and then just very narrow. And the friends and family and all the people around me, the society, tell me this is that standard that you need to fit into. And of course I didn't look like that, right? Because everybody have different bodies and
Yeah.
different appearances. So, and a lot of the people around me said, oh, you're too fat, you need to lose weight, this is not right. And even my family said that. So when I was young, I feel a deep connection to beauty, and then I lost it because I plug into the belief system of the people around me, and I plug into the belief system of the society, that I need to mold myself into this one narrow beauty standard so that I can look beautiful. And then of course I fail, because I am not her. So that I just feel very ugly, feel very fat, for a long time. And I lose my confidence. I kind of lose my self-esteem, and then I lose who I am, for many years when I was in Hong Kong. And then of course my soul tried to, help me with this journey, so that I came to New Zealand. And New Zealand, the energy was totally different. In New Zealand, people are more embracing about appearances. They don't really care what you look like. Of course they still will find we will still find you beautiful, but in your own way. Even though you're in any shape, you're in any color of skin, you look, different, you're beautiful because you're being you. So I started to, because I'm living in a completely new country, and the beauty center is much more healthier. And then I started to healing myself, in my beauty and in my connection to my body. And my soul sent me on a beauty quest, I think about 3 years ago when I start studying my soul art energy mapping journey. And in the beauty quest, I need to regain my relationship with my body because, as you can imagine, I feel so fat and it feels so uncomfortable in my body. So when I look at the mirror before, the first thing I would ever say to myself is criticism. I always look at the mirror and then everything I see is criticism. But with all the healing with the body love and self-respect, trying to affirmation, I'm regaining that relationship with my body. I start to love my body again. And then I started to define the beauty standard myself, the society tell me that this is the beauty standard. You need to look skinny and 22 years old and then, very pale skin with all the makeup on. But is that true? Is it how I feel beauty is about, and then I need to define it myself, what is my standard of beauty? And now I think how I feel about beauty is that beauty is in everybody. Beauty is the quality of the soul. And we need to regain it by loving ourselves, have respect ourselves. And then we need to see ourselves as, I think if you can see yourself beautiful in the mirror, you're seeing yourself as soul, in the mirror. And I feel like, unfortunately, we're living in, a culture that didn't really allow it to happen. You need to see your own beauty in your own unique way. So I guess that's why I feel like this is part of my purpose or my, I don't know, but something that I want to offer to the world is how to see your own beauty and how to regain that relationship with your body and how to regain that connection to your soul. And yeah, and I think I'm still on the journey to discover more about the topic on beauty. And I think there's so much more than how you look on the outside. And it's about everything, it's about how I look, it's about the energy I'm meeting, about the confidence that I'm meeting, the relationship to myself, the relationship to my body, my relationship to other women, because woman is actually, or is just a victim of the patriarchy system and a victim of the topic beauty, and when you think about it, women have so many competition in beauty. They even have competition about, the woman competing for beauty, right? The beauty contest. And I see it as a byproduct of the patriarchy system, and I feel like out of these, belief is in women is that we need to compete so that we look beautiful in a group situation. But the thing is that every woman is beautiful in their own way. When you look in a garden, you go into a garden, every flowers, they're all different. Every flower they're blossoming, it doesn't mean that the rose is blossoming and then the daisy next to her is look ugly, right? They're all different. You can't define, beauty in one single standard. You need to see everybody as their unique self. You need to see them as a unique soul. And this is how I heal from, being with a group of women as well. And now when I'm with a group of women, I see all the women are beautiful, no matter how the shape of their body, what's their colors, even if they have makeup on or not, how they like to dress themselves. It doesn't really matter, they're all beautiful. And I celebrate them, if they're successful, I celebrate them, I don't feel jealous. I think this is all what all women should feel, in the world. Yeah.
Wow. And that makes me think I really like the picture of when you were saying the beauty is unique for everyone and roses, pansies. But even in a family, in the same family of roses, every flower is different. And it's like the family unit. In our own family, we all have our own beauty to express. So I think there is something quite powerful there too.
Yeah, so that's why I said flower is my teacher. Teach me a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
on so many things. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And so it's by rediscovering the beauty that you were creating in your life. This is how you slowly started your business journey, or If you want
I
to make
Yeah, I think, when I started, I didn't think I want to start something about beauty. I don't think I'm planned like that, but I think it's all related. I think when I follow my passions, when I follow what I value in life, and I will create something that is all the quality that I try to embrace. So when I was starting, I was trying to create something that is unique, that is creative, that is my talent, and is beautiful, and is very feminine, and is from me. Is me contribute to the world. So I started a jewelry business. So I think everybody need to start somewhere, and then at first it may not be the picture that you envision for yourself. It may be you maybe start something that is just touching one aspect of what you're trying to achieve, but it doesn't really matter because you just need to start. When you start, and then something more will add to it, and then something more will add to it, and the more you follow your heart, the more you follow your dreams and what you're passionate about, the more will come. And then when you're doing more and more, your energy is starting to align, and then your growth trying to, and then you will become more and more of yourself as well, and then more inspiration will come, and then you will add to that, and you add to that, and then add to that, and then in maybe 3 or 5 years time, you will have a product or business, or you're doing something that is exactly what you're envisioning, like 5 years ago. But it may not start like that, but you just need to start. This is how I feel.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that. So that
Yeah.
basically answer a bit the question, but maybe if you want to talk a bit more about it. But what would you say to someone who actually has an idea of what they want to do, but they're not sure how, or how to start? What would you like to tell them?
Yeah. I think you should start something that what lights you up. So what light us up is our purpose in life. And this is your soul calling. And of course, we will have a lot of things that will light us up. And some of them may be very mundane. Some of them maybe you feel like it's totally irrelevant than what is a career will look like. So for example, for myself, I love dancing a lot. So I think one of my passion and soul calling is dancing. So I dance. But what I'm doing right now is totally irrelevant to dancing. I'm not teaching people dancing. I'm not incorporate dancing into any of my career path. But what dancing did to me is that when I'm dancing, I am moving my energy, especially my feminine energy, my chakras, my prana, my chi, and then I'm become more and more of myself. And then I become more feminine. I've become expressive. And this is all the quality that my soul need me to embrace before I can start doing my jewelry maybe, or start doing my artwork. So it's so much more than you can see from a surface level. So by just starting doing something that lights you up and will lead you to the next thing, and maybe you will meet a person that inspire you something when you're doing your dance classes, for example, or maybe after dance classes, I just feel so alive that I suddenly have a divine inspiration of how to start, a product or something. So just by following the breadcrumb, following what lights you up, and aligning the energy, that you're actually stepping closer and closer to your passion. And I feel like this is very natural to us, to follow what we are interested about. But I think a lot of people, what stop them from doing is, as soon as they start thinking that, oh, I need to align my passion to money or to business, this is what scare them, right? Because um, it seems so much more serious now because need to start making money from it. And my advice that, because I've been through this and I done a lot of healing on money as well, is that it may not happen overnight. You may not be able to make a full-time living overnight, but everybody needs to start somewhere. That really successful healer in the world, when she's like here now, she start from here. You need to start somewhere, and don't expect that you can make it a full-time living in the beginning. So like for myself, I need to work. When I start doing my jewelry, I need 2 other part-time job to support me so I can pay the bills, so I can keep doing my jewelry. And then in 2-3 years time, I make more money, and then I can just do one part-time job. And then in 5 years time, right now, this is my full-time job right now. And then it's because I know that this is what I want to do, and I dedicate to it, and allow, the time. I have compassion on myself to make this happen. And of course, in between, you may pivot a little bit, you may add something, you may drop something. If something didn't work, you pivot, you change. But I think the core thing is that you just need to follow your heart and start somewhere, and then be prepared to, and dedication, and don't give up, in the first, little while if you don't see any result. And to be honest, when you're doing what you love, isn't it pleasurable enough? So I feel like it's, enough drive for you to, you can keep going a little bit, even if it means that you may need another job to support you at that time. I think it's really, really worth it. And now doing what I love for a full-time job for many years now, I need to say that I'm really, really lucky, and I feel really happy that I stick to it. I feel really, really happy that I give myself the time and dedication and hard work, that I stick to what I love to build myself up into this stage. And don't get me wrong, it's not like happen magically overnight. I have spent a lot of hard work on it. I have educated myself. I have changed a lot of things to make it work. I need to create some product that my clients will love. And then I need to find a balance between my creativities, what I want to offer, to match with what my clients want to receive, so it's a lot of things. It may means that you may want to have a business mentor to help you with proceeding with making it a full time as well. So I feel like just ask yourself what kind of support that you need, to continue in your journey, and just start it and stick to it.
Yeah, I love it. And I would even add, have fun, because it's something for me personally that has been the hardest to learn. And now I am really having fun in creating. And that really, as when you say, it opens the heart, you do the things from the heart, and it's exactly that. And from the heart is actually just being like a kid, and just experiencing, practicing, trying, and learning from that. And yeah, and I think it's extremely important to enjoy what we're doing. And you're right, as soon as we start to put the money into it, it's when things get a little bit harder.
Yeah, but like what I learned now is that money is actually energy
Yeah.
as well, right? So money is not scary. Money is not dirty or make it less spiritual or less beauty. It's nothing like that. Money is my best friend now. It's just one of the energy that I need to align for me to receive money from, offering what I am passionate about. And and then money, to be honest, is one of the easiest thing to manifest in the physical world. That's how I feel. It's just because the energy of it. When I feel abundance, when I feel that I'm aligning to my purpose, money will start coming in. And this maybe is one of the things that you will want to put some thought on as well, is what is your relationship with money? Why you feel like when you start need to making money from what you love, why you feel like it's impossible, right? So this is a belief system that you need to change and work on. A lot of people, they only have I see a lot of people, have a lot of healing that need to be done with money as well. And I guess as we talked about before, the society didn't, help, isn't it? Is always
Oh,
tell us that you need to work hard 60
yeah.
hours a week, to make a lot of money, and then you can't do. No, even my parents told me that, you can't make a living from being an artist. It's hard, it's because there's so many poor artists archetype in the world, so if you're going to do that, this is not much, sure you don't want to be professional doctors or lawyers, that make easy, professional money. So of course, all this belief system didn't help, isn't it? So is that what's in your system? Is that what you believe as well? Is that you can't make money from doing what you love? So if that's true, then you need to do some healing on that.
That is such an incredible and powerful and important point, because when you say, like, yeah, the society is based on scarcity. It's like everything, we miss everything, we have to find something outside when actually we can create from within. And I think it's probably 95% of the population that needs to do some healing around money, indeed, like, because the belief system that we have created from our parents, the society is just incredible and so good. Thank you for really bring that into light, because that is what is preventing Eric and a lot of people to step into their own creation, because we are all creators in our own way. And unfortunately, because we believe, as our parent taught us, as you're saying in your own story, we can't live without creation, we can't live without passion. So yes, thank you. Love it.
You will.
And well, I guess maybe we already talked a bit about this, but what would you say to someone who think, oh wow, okay, that's really inspiring, I want to discover what is my passion, what is my gift? What would you tell those people?
So we always have interest, right? So what do you love to do is just, day-to-day life. That is your interest, your passion, your gift. And as I say, they may seem very normalized and mundane, and then you do it anyway. And then I feel like a lot of people don't do it is because of the belief system, from the society and the parent telling them, they can't, make money from doing what they love. And then they will just put their energy and their time to invest in something that can create, maybe a steady income stream, because so that they can pay bills, they can pay their mortgage and stuff, which is perfect, if this is what you want. But if you're a creative, or if you are creative, or a person that you really want to discover your passion and talent, and you really feel like you have a life purpose that is not the society, you know, create out for you, I was really encourage you to work on the muscle on following your dreams. So when I was in choosing what I study in university, for example, I look at all the courses that they offer, and then none of them is my passion. So it's like the society create different boxes for me to jump in, but I don't want to jump in any of the boxes. I was always a person that I just know that I am unique. I am different. I want to create something totally different, something that is just Yennis Mak can create to the world. I always know that, but the society didn't, provide me in this way, isn't it? Because when you're choosing a subject in uni, you need to, okay, which one boxes will you want to jump in? But I was like, I don't want to jump in any of those. And then when I go into graduated from uni, and I try to find a job, none of the job I want to do. I don't want to do any of the job that is listed on the advert. And somehow, of course, I was chosen to be a graphic designer because I studied creative media in, uni. And then this is what kind of normal for me to do, is to become a graphic designer. But even when I was doing that, I was like, well, it's touch a little bit of what I want to do, which is art and creativity, but it's nothing like that. It's pretty boring. And then I'm creating something that my clients want me to do, which is not my vision. So, and I feel like, and then I started to realize that is that, you know what, if I have the desire to create something totally new to the world, I need to start my own thing. This is how I feel. And then if you are feeling the same, as um, I think, when you're creating this podcast, I think you're trying to inspire people that is think like that, right? People that are creative, that want to start something totally unique. And if you think like that, I want to congratulate you, because you probably one of those people that is going to channel a whole new things to the world, a whole new invention to the world. Because when I look at a lot of people that I admire, as a mentor, or as a leader, or as a CEO in the world, they are channeling a whole new things to the world. This is how they started. They're not trying to fit themselves into boxes. They are creating their new thing. They're channeling the new things to the world. And then we need that, because we are progressing as a race, as humanity. We are progressing as a being. So we need new things. And then the energy is new. The things is changing. So we need new ideas and things. And so if you think like that, don't waste your gift, don't waste your destiny, don't waste your life purpose on trying to fit yourself into those boxes that do not fit you at all. Try to work on the muscle of how to talk to your soul. The connection to your soul, I feel like, is very important for us to tap into our gift and passion as well. And I feel like a lot of people, it sounds like, oh, it sounds so hard, well, how could I connect to my soul? But it's actually easier than you think. I think what lights us up, deep inside and the heart, is what is our soul asking us to do. And even as a small thing like, oh, I like dancing, so I go on a dance classes, or I like to create, like a website so that people can go on to and, buy free-range egg locally, for example. It's just something like that. Just start anything that what lights you up. And then, as I say, one thing will lead to another and will lead to another. And then when you start practicing this muscle, and you will feel more easy to tap into your soul purpose and your destiny. And then the new inspiration will come. And inspiration is the channel, is that you are the channel, and the inspiration is how the soul talk to you, right? So when you think about, your prayer is how you talk to the God and the soul, and your inspiration is how the God and the soul talk to you. So just follow in your inspiration, and then start practicing the muscle.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's exactly that. And it's when it's smooth and it happens like naturally, and it's, yeah, fantastic. And there are so many therapists and even your workshop that you are creating is probably a perfect modality to go through to actually find, oh wow, okay, I can feel the energy of something that I want to create, and maybe ideas can pop up from that too, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have a lot of transformation and healing by practicing soul art myself. I've been studying and practicing soul art for the last 6, 7 years, and I've done many, many, many soul art journey on myself, and I heal a lot of my aspect of myself, as I mentioned before, about money, about my body image, about self-love, about beauty, about my career, about how can I, make a financially independent just by doing what I love, everything that I struggle with. So it helped me to move on to the next stage. And then when we done a soul art journey, I always end with spirit action. So it's like I have insight from the artwork, and then I would turn that insight into an action. And then an action is what we talk about, is that inspiration. You have inspiration, but if you don't take action, inspiration is still in the spirit realm, is won't land it. So how you transform your life and your world is by taking action from your inspire insight, right? So that's why the soul art journey is always end at an action, so that I actually take action in my physical life, so that my inspiration can land into my physical world. Yeah.
Wow, love it. Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes. And during your journey, did you have any inspirational people, podcasts, books that you remember and you would like to share with people?
I have one that I really enjoy lately. So that one is called Mentorship with the Goddess. Um, and then let me just look it up. I want to be exact with the word. So Mentorship with Goddess, Journey Sacred Womanhood. by K. Louise Eldred. So it's from a company called the Girl God Book. So I highly recommend this company, Girl God Book. So this one is, so I want to talk about this company for a little bit because Girl God Book, they do a lot of books about woman empowerment, how a woman can turn into a womanhood, and about our womb, about our menstrual cycle, about different goddesses, archetypal energy. The reason why I feel so inspired by this company is because I feel like a lot of women in the world, we didn't really have the education that we need to turn into a woman. So we, as a woman, we have a lot of rite of passage, but the society, the educational system, our family, my mother didn't have any of those information to us. So we are still at the maiden stage. A lot of women, even in, let's say they're 70, 80 years old, they may be still at their maiden. They never grow into a mother, So as in the womanhood, where a woman grow from a maiden to a mother and into a crone, right? To a wise woman. But a lot of women didn't, because they didn't know there's a way that nobody told us. No, none of their mother tell us. No, is no role model in the world. So, and this company, Girl God Book, they teach women if a lot of rite of passage about how can we grow into a full womanhood, how can we hold ourselves, how can we understand our body better, how can we tune into our menstrual cycle and understand the power of it, and how can we tune into the goddess archetypal energy. So we learn from the goddess that is existent in the world to receive their wisdom and energy. So this book that I would just talk about, they like a workbook, so it's very, very practical, and it's got a lot of things and that you can follow and do. And they will teach you a lot about our body as a woman, and a lot of somatic technique that we can do, if we feel different emotions in our life. And they'll also teach you about what we should do in different cycle in our moon circle, when we are bleeding or not bleeding. And also they separate into different months, so it's like different months have different energy. So it's tap into Gaia as well, right? Because Gaia, she is a feminine planet. So Gaia have seasons, so as woman, so as everyone. And when Gaia is in her different phases, what is the energy? What is she doing? And how can we as women, as men, tap into her energy and work with her? And and I just feel really inspiring when I start learning about female empowerment and divine feminine energy, because this is what we're lacking, in our educational system. For so many years, I've been just eating painkillers on the first or second day of my bleeding, cycle. Because when I'm bleeding, I still need to go to work, I still need to go to school, and then I just need to take painkillers so that I can still keep working. And this is the masculine way. This is the patriarchal way. It's like we always just going, going, going. We never stop. It's always about productivities, always about creating more. But the divine feminine teaches that, we are cynical beings. We have cycles like the moon. The moon have different phases. So as women, so as men. And in different phases in our cycle, we do different things, And the first day and the second day when we are bleeding as women, we're supposed to be doing completely nothing. We should be resting. We should be tuning into our body. Because this 2 days is the day that our intuition is the highest, is the day that we are deeply rooted in the Sophia, is the divine feminine, and is the universe. So this is the day that we should be doing nothing, so that we can listen to her, to our womb, to the divine Sophia, and so that we can plan the cycle ahead. And it's also the time that we teach ourselves how to slow down and do nothing, because to be honest, it's very hard in the patriarchy and the masculine dominant energy society that we can do nothing, isn't it? So by doing that, by learning about our cycle and how to, what's the time to go, what's the time to rest, and how to tap into those energy, we are actually balancing the world as well. we're balancing the hyper masculine energy so that we can, tap into those more feminine energy as well. So if you're interested in anything about this topic, about womanhood, about divine feminine energy, I would really highly recommend this book and every book from the Girl God, company.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in a comment. Thank you. And so we talked about it at the beginning of it, on what you are about to create, this workshop. And I know that you have already created some workshops before, co-creating workshops with other beautiful souls. And what else do you have under your sleeve in the future?
I think I'm at a stage that is I'm trying to find my new identity as a woman. I have just ended, a long-term relationship. And then I realized that, when I was in that relationship, I was identifying myself as a certain roles, right? So I was identify some as my partners. So it's a lot of things that I identify myself with and a lot of things that I do, for the relationship. But now when I'm come out from it, I'm single and I'm free. Who am I? Who am I without all those identity, with all the roles, without my work, without my land? Who am I, as a woman, as a soul? Who am I? So I think I'm at a stage that I am trying to find a new identity, try to tap into more of my authentic self. And when I have all the freedom in the world, what will I create? What will I do, as a soul? I think this is a very good time for me to slow down. And then the universe is just always have the best timing, because I also just have a surgery a few weeks ago that I need some time off to do nothing. So it's just like the perfect divine timing that this is the time for me to just slow down and think and contemplate who I'm trying to be. And I already have a lot of inspiration already. And I also have a lot of quality that I try to embrace. And I can share one of those is that I try to be, I trying to maybe want to explore more about wombs and feminine energy. And I have find that there is a goddess conference in the UK every August in UK, which is where my mothers live, where my other family lives. So I feel really inspired that I can go to UK during New Zealand winter, which is where my business is usually slower. So I can go to UK and maybe discover more about, goddesses, about feminine energy, and be with my family, while I'm doing that. So it's one of the really strong inspiration that come in. Is so aligned to what I trying to seek at the moment. And I also want to do more traveling so that I can meet more new people and be with different energy of the land. I've been starting to notice energy of the land, since I start studying intuitive plant medicine, because one of the module that I study is about land medicine. So I've been, I go to different places, different area. I will start feeling into the energy of the land. And I really feel like the land of UK, which is the Glastonbury, which is where the old Avalon is somewhere I really would love to go to discover more about the goddess and the divine feminine. So I just feel like the universe and my soul is asking me to just take the time to listen more so that I can be more aligned to my path and to my next highest frequency.
Wow. Yeah, and it's quite good to hear your journey, because you really follow what comes up, and you also have no shame on, because often we have that in the society of I feel guilty of stopping or not doing anything, and I quite like the fact that you say, you know what, like when I'm on my cycle and I need those 2 days to rest and really embody the wisdom, the feminine wisdom and inspiration, and yeah, just listening to what your inner guidance is telling you. And I think it's so important um, for people to be reminded that it's okay to slow down. There is no guilt or shame about that. And it's not because we do nothing that we do nothing. We actually do much more than that, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it's not only we have no shame of resting. I think when you think about resting being not productive, I don't think it's true. So when you think about when you're working, and in this adrenaline of working, you feel like you're very productive because you're always working. But when you're on this adrenaline energy, there's no space for you to have inspiration come in because you're just working. And inspiration is very important because, as I say, inspiration is what your soul talking is how your soul talking to you. So when we are resting, we're not doing anything. This is how the inspiration can come in because you're finally not working and you're listening is when you're resting, right? And this is actually very productive. You know, the dreaming stage, the inspiration stage is a highly feminine quality. And this is the patriarchy system do not value, but this is highly productive and highly valuable, which is when you're resting, you have the divine inspiration come in. And the inspiration will lead you to what you actually need to focus right now. Instead of always just working on the old project, the old energy that is already past, right? Or maybe it's something that you should work on, but what if, because we're always growing, we're always evolving into our highest frequency, so we will have new things coming in that we need to do. So we're not supposed to just do the old thing over and over again. So when you stop and listen, and then you will be aligned to your soul and your purpose again, and then you can start working on that new project. So it's always need to be have a balance, is that we work and then we stop. You know, the feminine is the dreamer, is the inspiration, and then the masculine energy is that action, you know. So we need to have both, but we need to listen to both. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. The way you phrase it is divine. And so what are the social platform that we can connect with you?
So I have two social media. So one is my real flower jewelry. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. It's the same name. So it's called Milliefa, Milliefanz. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram on that name. Is for my real flower jewelry. And I also have another social media, which is about my spiritual side of things. You know, I offer soul art workshop, Akashic record reading, and anything spiritual related. I will post it there. And that page is called Soul Co-Creation Studio. Soul Co-Creation Studio, and it's on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I will put that in comment also. Fantastic.
Thank you.
So, Yennis, is there anything else that we haven't talked about and you feel that it would be good to express?
I just really appreciate what you do, you know, Lily, that you create a podcast for people to tap into your creativities. I just feel like, you know, conversation like this is really important in the world right now, so we can learn from each other, you know, as human. And I also feel like creativities and passion is something that a lot of people don't really value nowadays. They feel like passions and creativity is something very dreamy, and it's something that is kind of like a hobby, right? You know, instead of taking it seriously. But I think it's something highly variable in creativities and following your desire, following your passion, following your heart, you know. And because I feel like if you follow your heart, you're following your soul purpose, you're following your life purpose. And everyone's have talents, everyone have a life purpose in life. And when you follow that, you're tapping into the biggest gift you can give to the world.
That's right. That's right. And I believe that everyone is a creator. Because often we think our gift, creation, passion, it's something that, it can be art, or it can be a therapy or a service or something, but it doesn't have to be that. That can be just a mom that has a specific way of educating her children. That can be a teacher that has an incredible gift on the way he's teaching his children. So we all are creators, and it's exactly what you're saying by going into this intuition, this feminine side, and we are creating our life every day. And when we are focusing and into a future that we want to manifest, we are creating this future, especially when we start working on ourselves and releasing all those old belief system, limiting belief system, like we were talking about money, but that can be for so many other things. This is when we are creating again our life. So yeah, that's why, I wanted to create this podcast, interview, talk, basically. So thank you so much for being with us today. That was fantastic. I just in awe and so grateful that every people that I receive have such an incredible way of explaining, telling their own story and inspiring people. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.